What is up, guys? All right, we've got some new people to the channel, so welcome. And we've got a couple questions that have popped up in regards to meal plans or meal ideas for a low-carb diet. If you've been following along now for a while, you know the drill. For those of you who have stumbled across my channel for the first time, my name is Dave, and I was able to lose 202 pounds in less than 23 months. 165 of those pounds was lost in 1 year after starting a low-carb keto diet. I am not a coach. I am not a trainer. I have no fancy titles. And on this channel, I'm just simply sharing my own personal experience and opinions. As always, be sure to consult your doctor before starting any diet or exercise program. When you first start a low-carb or keto diet, you're going to see all kinds of processed foods out there that are keto-friendly, and they're there as kind of a replacement for foods that you're trying to eliminate from your diet, such as pizza, breads, those kinds of things. And you can get confused really fast because there's a debate within the community as far as, how to count carbs and does dietary fiber take away from the total carb? It's a whole mess out there. So it can really get confusing and it can turn you off to the diet. So what I would say is just keep it simple. Try to stick to whole foods and just try to eliminate the carbs and the sugar as much as possible. I think when I was first starting out, I was trying to keep my carbs under 20 grams per day. I think you might be able to get away with 30 or 40, but my whole thought was just try to eliminate as many carbs as possible. Okay, when I first decided that I wanted to try to lose weight, I was basically eating out 3 times a day. Okay, it included a lot of fast food and a lot of restaurant food. So I decided what I was going to do is eliminate lunch. I was going to try to start eating only breakfast and dinner. And the reason why I did this is because I thought, well, I'm consuming so many calories per day, eating 3 times a day. Why not just eliminate one meal, still eat all the same stuff that I was eating, but maybe that would, reduce my calorie intake for the day. So that's what I did. And over about a 5 to 6 month period, I got myself used to eating twice a day. And the reason why I just wanted to share that with you is because when I go over this list of food that I was kind of eating, what a typical week might look like when I first started my low carb diet, it's going to be 2 meals a day. And that's why I wanted to share that part, because you might be like, why are you only eating 2 meals a day? And that's why. It's also an important thing to note. You may want to track your food, guys, because as you try to watch your progress, you can tweak what you're eating based on the results you're seeing on the scale week to week. So what I was usually eating for breakfast looked like this. It would be eggs, sometimes with cheese, sometimes not, and then pork sausage links. Now, sometimes I would also put salsa on my eggs. Salsa is a great low carb sauce, and I love salsa. So that's what a breakfast would look like. So for dinner, I would have something like steak with bacon wrapped jalapeno poppers. They are not breaded. That's what makes them low carb. And so for that day of having eggs and sausage links, steak, and bacon wrapped jalapenos, my main carb was the jalapenos. Day 2, breakfast would look exactly the same, but this time I might have steak with some grilled bell peppers, and the carbs for the day would have been the grilled bell peppers. Day 3, breakfast would be the same, eggs and sausage links. But for dinner, I would make taco meat, and I would have the taco meat in a bowl and just put cheese, guacamole, and salsa. So basically everything that you would want for your tacos, it would just not include a tortilla or a corn shell. Day 4, breakfast the same. For dinner, it might have been 2 burger patties with cheese and a side of broccoli. And my carbs for the day would have been the broccoli. Day 5, breakfast the same. And then for dinner, I'd have steak strips, right? Like fajita strips, with grilled bell peppers, cheese, guacamole, and salsa. So basically fajitas without the tortilla. Day 6, breakfast the same. And for dinner, I would have had a pizza, but instead of eating the crust, I would scrape the toppings off of the pizza and just eat the toppings. Day 7, breakfast the same. And for dinner, back to steak and bacon wrapped jalapeno poppers. And my carbs for the day would have been the jalapeno. So that's kind of how I was keeping it simple. Basically, just look at what you're eating now and what it would look like if you ate the same thing. You just removed the carbs, you removed the bread, you removed the pasta, you removed the sugar. So let's say I ate all that the first week and I had some weight loss at the end of the week. I probably would try to duplicate that the next week or do something very similar. There's a lot of things that you could work in there for one dinner to change it up. And for example, a lot of people like to use spaghetti squash and then they make a real meaty marinara sauce, and it basically is a substitute for spaghetti, and it's actually pretty good. So you could do that for dinner one night, and your carbs would mainly be the spaghetti squash, but spaghetti squash is very low in carbs. Let's say you're kind of staked out. Well, you could obviously have chicken, and then something I liked was like chicken with cheese, bacon, and guacamole with a side of like broccoli. And you could also substitute cauliflower rice for a lot of things as well. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the cauliflower rice by itself, but I have come up with a very good recipe that kind of makes a casserole out of it with cheese and bacon, which is really good. Let's say scraping a pizza and just eating the toppings it's kind of rich. Like I don't really know how to explain it, but sometimes it can be like the taste can be overwhelming, I think, if you're just eating the toppings. There's something about the bread that evens pizza out. So another thing you can do if you're craving like pizza is you can get a low carb tortilla, and then you can just make a pizza on top of it. And those aren't bad, but my favorite substitute for a pizza is a chicken crust pizza, and I'll be sharing how to make that in a future video. So there's some examples of kind of how you can change it up as far as dinners go. Breakfast, I'm sorry, I just kind of eat the same thing every day. So let's say you follow a meal plan that you put together for a week and you get results on the scale at the end of the week. Just try to duplicate that the next week and see what you get. Now, let's say you're going along and you're doing pretty good, but you come to a week where you've switched it up a little bit, or maybe it's the same thing you've been doing and you don't notice a lot of movement on the scale. One thing you can do is lean it out. And what I mean by that is, like, for the next week, say, instead of having eggs and cheese and sausage pork links, try having eggs and cheese and turkey sausage links. Or maybe the week before you had like a couple nights where you were eating red meat. We'll switch it up and have chicken. And one of the greatest things that I have found doing this diet, guys, is I don't even use beef for taco meat anymore. I use ground chicken. It's lean and it tastes great. And let me tell you what, it's 10 times better than ground turkey, and it's half the price. There's lots of things you can do, so you got to be creative. Let's say you were having eggs in the morning and you were doing 3 eggs. Well, you could do 1 whole egg and 3 egg whites, and that might increase volume, but it's going to reduce calories. So think about things like that. Chicken is going to be less calories and leaner than beef. And just like stated before, the turkey sausage is going to be leaner and less calories than the pork sausage. But one thing I will tell you is, if you are seeing results, sometimes just doing the same thing over and over and over again, even though it can get boring, it's going to be what helps get you to the weight that you want to be. So you may have to do those hard things. You're going to be eating things you like, but it may be getting old, but it's worth it in the end. So trying to figure out what's working week to week is critical. And let's say you do switch it up and you're not losing as fast as you want, or maybe you have a week where it stalls out. It's okay, just keep going. Obviously, portion control is a big deal, so you're going to have to monitor that. You may be able to get away with eating the same thing, but kind of reducing the portion. So once again, don't overcomplicate it in the beginning. Try to stay to whole foods, keep it simple, monitor what's happening on the scale, and if you're going in the right direction, just keep doing what you're doing. And just know, you may switch it up and you may get better results and you may get worse results. So you just got to be okay with that. Don't panic. And let me also state this, just because I ate this way does not necessarily mean it's going to work for you. You're going to have to tweak it, and it also depends on how much physical activity you're getting. Now, I know they say you can't out-exercise a bad diet, but it's true that you can get away with eating a little bit more depending on your physical activity. Guys, if you know somebody out there who's trying to lose weight and they might benefit by hearing what I'm trying to say, please share my videos. I really want to help people out there. Be sure to smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you get notified when I upload a new video. Don't forget to hit that like button, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.